I thought of a quote from a very surprising person, Matthew McConaughey. And he has this quote in, I was listening to his audiobook that says, be less impressed and more involved. And I sort of feel that that sums up what a lot of organisation strategies are when it comes to voice of the customer. And what I mean by that is we did a study at the beginning of the year, and it showed that 36% of global companies had a voice of the customer program, but only 26% were actually turning the analytics and the data they got, the information they got, into action. Mm-hmm. Yep. So everyone's got it, they've got the tick box, yay, voice of the customer. They've become impressed with themselves, but in turn, they've also become less involved.
So what does it mean to listen to the customer? For a really long time, I think it was, you go to a conference, so executive goes to the conference, there is an angry customer there, they tell them everything, or a pleased customer there, they tell them everything they think, and like, oh, that's voice of the customer. I just heard from the customer. So the struggle that we've had, and around data, well, in addition to other things, but around data was, okay, that's nice that you went and you listened to one customer, or maybe even 5, but what does the data tell you? Are you going with the data? Or are you going to go with your gut?
If you think about the stakeholders and the different roles that they hold, you have to think about, how do I actually take all of that information, synthesize it, the data aspect of it, and the data is coming from everywhere now. Mm-hmm. Are they posting a complaint on social media versus calling into your line or talking to a sales rep, a customer service agent? So part of it is actually, I believe, bring in the human element. Technology is a great enabler, but you need people to actually own and run that technology. So part of it is, who do you have as the owner of each of these, milestones along the way of the customer voice to be representative of that, bringing them together, having conversations together around, are we delivering the best experience? If you want to really deliver a great customer experience, and part of it is have that service committee and center already ready to go. Respond to these requests quickly, have a communication chain to bring it all the way to the top.
The name of the game is how much data you actually have, and then what do you do with it? Well, and from technology perspective, I think the biggest challenge that we've had for years and years, and it's still, even with all the advancements in AI, machine learning, you would think that would be solved, is what I call common keys problem. When you bring multiple data sets, you want to connect it to actually the same person.
How much data can you actually ingest and then actually display to the customer? So I've always kind of taken the approach, I'll just share personal experience, it's more of less is more. Just keep it simple.
It's not almost about personalization, it's about removing the friction, right? Mm-hmm. We said that on the panel earlier. Yeah. How do you remove the friction? Because the thing is I think there's a few things. First of all, if I'm going to give you all of my data, I expect you to do something with it. And most companies, again, don't know what to do with it. So they're like, yeah, we're going to personalize, we're going to collect all this data. Don't know how I'm going to change my customer experience as a result of it. So that leaves me as a customer frustrated. Because now I'm like, I've given you all this data, I expect a more frictionless experience, a more personalized experience, and you're not giving it to me. So they're not thinking about the end-to-end strategy. And then the other piece is looking for simple ways that you can remove. Technologically, some of these things have been harder to do, and it's harder to adopt and build it into your process. But what does your customer think is the baseline of what the experience should be?
You think about what ultimately the CEO has to bring to the board, that is CX.